Hi, Melanie.
Good morning, Melissa. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I am much better today with the sun. I gotta tell you,
Yes, no,
all that rain yesterday was a little left me a little depressed. But I am so thankful for the sun today.
absolutely. And happy 1st of June.
Yes, that's right. Happy 1st of June to you
Yeah,
too.
we've made it to June.
Can't believe we're still doing this in June.
Yes, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, today I thought we could talk a little bit about loneliness. Melissa, how have you been feeling in terms of your sense of connection with other people since this all began almost 3 months ago?
Yeah. It's definitely shifted and changed a little bit. Um, I I feel connected because I really utilize social media and different like video platforms. But where I really notice loneliness and have noticed loneliness in all of this is when my son goes with his dad. And then I am home alone. And because you can't go out and do the same social activities, I can't go to the gym or go and actually meet a friend in the same way that I used to, that's when I really feel the loneliness.
Yeah. I've been hearing from a lot of folks that that is bar none the hardest part of this self-isolation is feeling lonely. Now,
Hmm.
it is a bit different between people who are considered extroverts versus introverts. So, extroverts are the kind of people who get their energy from being with other people. It fills their cup. They feel invigorated once they've been with people for a while.
Hmm.
Other people, like myself, an introvert, I feel more relaxed and peaceful when I've had some time to myself.
Hmm.
So this is definitely, in my opinion, been harder for extroverts because their main connection to people and their resource for getting that sense of energy and revitalization hasn't been available to them.
Yeah,
But I think it's also been hard on introverts because even though we get, rejuvenation from spending time on our own, we still like people.
absolutely.
And one of the things I've noticed with this self isolation is I, without being connected to people, I'm losing my markers of time.
Hmm.
So, like I have rituals and routines every week that I go through, like every Tuesday morning, driving to the office, coming in the building, saying hi to Tara, going to my office, saying hi to Shannon, running into you in the lunchroom and in the workshops. And that marks time. That makes me
Yeah.
know today is Tuesday. This is my work.
Hmm.
Now it feels like time is just kind of, all meshed together. And I even forget what I'm supposed to be doing on any given day because I don't have people in my life to give me the signs of what I'm meant to be doing.
Hmm. Melanie, that is so relatable. And now that you say that, just to reflect, I feel like through all of this, where I have been like, oh, today feels like it's Thursday, or today feels like it's Monday. I feel like I've been wrong every time because the days don't feel like how they did.
Yeah. That our day
Mhm.
is so different right now than what it was
Mhm.
2.5 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about loneliness and ways for people to kind of reframe it, to manage it, to make it feel a little less or a little more tolerable
Okay.
as we're going through this. Because even as our economy is opening up little by little, we're given the opportunity to engage a little more with people in different
Mhm.
ways. It's still not back to the way it was.
Right.
So loneliness still could be a struggle for a lot of us.
Mhm.
So, one of the things I want to mention is to really caution people about confusing being alone with loneliness.
Mhm.
A
What is
lot
the
of,
difference?
a lot of people will think, well, nobody's here. I'm alone. This must be wrong. This must be bad. I'm lonely, and I'm in a. This is a bad space for me to be in.
Mhm.
Number one, because they might not understand that being alone just means being by yourself.
Right.
And many people can still cope with being by themselves because there might be things that they prefer to do while they're by themselves.
Right.
Listening to a podcast or knitting or dancing to some music.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things that we can do with ourselves when we're alone that's actually quite fulfilling. Loneliness is being alone and feeling sad or anxious or upset about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is some people who will feel bad about being lonely because it might trigger them to think about a time in their past
Mm-hmm.
when they were actually forced into being alone, like if they were forced into a timeout,
Right.
or they were forced to stay in a bedroom or a closet or wherever, that's if they've had that
Mm-hmm.
kind of trauma in their life, and then that's a different thing.
Right.
And I'm going to talk about how to get through that in a little bit. But for most people, if they simply are able to acknowledge, I am alone, doesn't mean that I'm lonely. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that I lack people in my life. It doesn't mean that I don't have friends. Just at this very moment, I am alone, and I can use that aloneness to nurture myself,
Right.
to go have that hot bubble bath that I've been meaning to have a little nap to gain some rest and, strengthen
Mm-hmm.
my immune system or whatever. So just the caution to really think about, am I really lonely, or am I just confused about the fact that I'm alone right now?
Right.
Because
Okay.
being alone might be okay.
Okay.
The second strategy actually feeds into what I was just saying. A lot of people will think, because I feel bad, this must be bad.
Mm.
So I feel lonely and I feel this sadness, the anxiety about it. Therefore, it must be wrong.
Right.
But just because we feel something doesn't mean that it is something. So just because I feel bad doesn't mean that the situation is bad,
Right.
and it doesn't mean that I am bad. Sometimes it feels bad because actually I'm tired, I'm hangry,
Mm-hmm.
just other problems are happening, and I'm getting my feelings mixed up.
Right.
So if I add to my feelings, if I add some thought into it, okay, well, it feels bad. Is it really bad? So here I am alone. Nobody's with me. But is this really bad? It doesn't mean I'm unsafe. It doesn't mean I'm unlovable. It doesn't mean that nobody is ever going to visit me again.
Mm-hmm.
Just means that's my situation right this very minute.
Yeah.
Another blessing about COVID-19 is we can easily and safely say, this is everybody's situation right now.
Exactly.
Everyone is struggling with loneliness because we've been cut off from other people.
Exactly.
So whenever you feel something that doesn't feel right, challenge it by saying, just because I feel that way doesn't mean it is that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring your thoughts into it and really look at what's going, like the truth of what's going on.
Okay.
The third thing about loneliness or being alone is sometimes it gives us way too much time to think.
Yes.
So people can start to kind of get into a thinking loop about how boring it is, how frustrating it is, how much they want to connect with people, and it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, kind of like a tornado that starts
Yeah.
small and just whizzes out of
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
So this is what I recommend for people to just, okay, acknowledge that, you don't like what's happening right now, and that's okay. None of us do.
Mm-hmm.
And then find something that you do like to do.
Right.
Find a funny show on TV, put on an online exercise class and work out in your living room, put on some great music that lifts you up, connect with a friend, go on
Mm-hmm.
FaceTime or Skype and, hey, how you doing, for a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your mind busy with things that you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge yourself to do something that you haven't done before. Build a birdhouse or
Yeah.
paint a painting, even if that's not your strength. Well, try it out and see if you can
Yeah.
challenge yourself. Yeah.
If you have the time to, then
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The next coping strategy, we've already kind of talked about it, but basically, when you have negative self beliefs, when you find yourself feeling upset about being alone because you have these thoughts of, I'm so unlovable,
Yeah.
nobody likes me. Well, if somebody liked me, wouldn't they be FaceTiming me or calling me? I'm so alone. I'm always going to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you need to take hold of those negative thoughts, really examine them for how truthful they are.
Yes.
Most of the time, those are just negative thoughts that come from our past
Mm-hmm.
or come from our greatest fears.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not truth, they're not fact.
When I find myself in a pattern like that, and when I get to the point where I'm able to catch the thought and stop and actually look at it, then I ask myself, so what is true then? And then what is true? Well, I am safe. I am lovable.
Yeah.
Right now, I just have this time alone.
You've hit the nail right on the head, Melissa. That's exactly what you need to do, is you need to explore those thoughts and reframe them to be more truthful.
Mm-hmm.
I might be alone right now, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to be alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's alone sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's not calling me right now doesn't mean I'm lovable.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I talked to Frank, and the other day I talked to Nancy, and they seem to like me fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um, catching hold of those negative self-beliefs, really looking at them and examining them, acknowledging that, oh, okay, thanks brain for letting me know that there could be a problem, but
Mm-hmm.
actually there's no problem.
Yeah.
So just reframing it into something more positive and more truthful for yourself.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of what you shared with us last week too, of just looking at like, oh, here is being irritated again and just observing that. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Just like as if it was a flower that popped up in your garden. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
look at that. There it is. You can keep it alive, or you can pull it and put it in the compost.
Yeah. Let it go.
Let it go. Um, the other thought that I've had about loneliness is, and this came from Community Natural Foods right at the very beginning of the self-isolation. I just loved it when I read on their website, don't think of it as social distancing, think of it as physical distancing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't socially distance yourself. Keep your social connections. Keep talking to people over the means that we have, phone
Mm-hmm.
and webinar and video or FaceTime.
Yeah.
Um, because physical distancing, staying 2 meters away from somebody is very different from still being able to talk and connect with people.
Yeah. Exactly.
And do that. So I just really encourage people to connect with people with whatever means they have, even if it is, meeting on the driveway and having our lawn chairs 2 meters
Yeah.
apart, or if it's going on, playing a game. I know that there's apps out there and
Yeah.
websites there where you can play a game together,
Mm-hmm.
listen to each other. You can even watch movies together, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. You can.
It's cool.
It really is.
So there's lots of ways to connect. It's just a very non-traditional way of connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also really want to encourage people to really fill their day up with positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Reminding yourself of what you've been through already, the strengths that you have, the barriers that you've already, crashed through, the success you've already had,
Yeah.
and putting those into positive affirmations. I can do this. This is
Mm-hmm.
hard, but I can do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
I am a success. This is nothing compared to what I've been through.
Yes.
I can keep going and I will keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I am lovable. I am friendly. I like me and people like me.
Mm-hmm.
So just
All
whatever,
sounds so lovely.
and you can tailor it to whatever you need to hear at that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
whatever gives you strength. Yeah. This one is for the folks who might get triggered by being lonely.
Okay.
So for the folks who are looking at these four walls and being reminded of a time when they were maybe forced to isolate or forced to be
Mhm.
alone for a while, whether it was somebody who was um, what am I calling? Sorry, I lost my word. But
Okay.
somebody who was forced to go into a timeout, maybe at home or at a group home, or somebody who was maybe put in a small, like maybe abandoned by a parent and left in a bedroom for hours at a time. That can be a real difficult moment to go through when here we are being forced to stay in our homes and
Yeah.
told not to leave, right? So it can really remind people of that past trauma. And in that situation, number one, if people need counseling, let me know,
Yes.
or find a counselor out there in the community that you can talk to. Even calling the distress center would be a really awesome resource for something
Mhm.
quick.
Okay.
But in the other part of it, in terms of just some self-help, it's really important to ground yourself. So in those moments when you feel like the current situation is reminding you and almost taking you back into the traumatic past,
Mm-hmm.
that's the moment where you need to put both feet on the floor, ground your feet into the ground below, and do something that helps you to connect to the present.
Mm-hmm.
And last week on our video, we did a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness.
Yes.
And that's a really great mindfulness. What are 5 things I see? And I
Mm-hmm. Right.
point those out. 4 things that I feel, and I point those out. 3
Mm-hmm.
things that I um, hear. 2 things that I smell. 1 thing that I taste.
Yeah.
That will help me to remember that here I am. I'm in my house where
Mm-hmm.
I am safe. That person or that situation that harmed me in the past is not here.
Yeah.
I am here in control. I am okay. I am safe.
Mm-hmm. In this moment, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, that's perfectly right. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really important for folks to remember. Okay. Yes. Okay. Number 8 is loving kindness, which we're going to do a mindfulness of in a few moments. So basically, loving kindness is just imagining being connected with people who love and care for you.
Hmm.
And loving kindness can go a little outside that comfort zone as well. And it can help you to connect with people that you don't even know, like strangers, in a
Yeah.
loving kindness kind of way.
Okay.
So it can help you in your imagination to feel like you're surrounded by people.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also, even when you're out of the mindfulness, it can help you to have more compassion
Mm-hmm.
and more positive feelings for other people in your environment.
That sounds like a very great practice that we could all benefit from.
Yeah. Well, and remember a few weeks ago, Melissa, you were saying you were in the grocery store and you knew that you were doing what you needed to do to be safe, but you
Yeah.
weren't sure what those other people had done.
Yeah.
This can help us to feel less vulnerable
Okay.
or less intimidated, less threatened by
Okay.
other people. It can help us to feel like we're more accepting and positive towards anybody else in our environment.
Right. Okay.
And then before I go on to that loving kindness meditation, the last suggestion I have for people is just keep reminding yourself that this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So you might feel lonely now, we all do, but we won't
Mhm.
feel like that forever.
Right.
Now, for those people who have often had a lonely, self-isolating kind of lifestyle, even before this COVID-19,
Mm-hmm.
I just really want to encourage them that even though you've been feeling lonely for years, after this COVID-19 thing is over, we don't know what it's going to be like. People might come together even more.
Yeah.
We might find that our relationships are closer or that it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to develop relationships because we've all had this experience of being cut off.
Yes. I've seen different posts on social media of people saying, just when this is all over, I will never take a hug for granted or a handshake for granted or like a smile of a passing stranger and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, open yourself up to the positive possibilities of what life
Yeah.
can be like so much better after this COVID-19
Yeah.
crisis is over. Yeah. All right. So we'll do a mindfulness called loving kindness. Now, just a little cautionary note. I've never done this mindfulness with people before. I've done it myself, but
Yeah,
I've never facilitated it. So I'm going to be looking at my computer and reading it off, unfortunately, because I don't know it by heart.
that's okay.
So if you don't want to be distracted by my shifting eyes, then you might just want to close your eyes
Okay.
and
Close
get
that.
into your own sweet spot of mindfulness.
Okay.
I'm just going to get to it right here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And this will just probably be about 7 to 10 minutes long, not too
Okay.
long. It's
Okay.
one for beginners, so it's a good one to start with.
Sounds good.
So I'm just going to get you to sit in a comfortable position as usual. Close your eyes fully or partially, up to you, whatever you're comfortable with, and take a few deep breaths just to settle into your body and into this present moment. Just noticing as your breath comes in and out. No need to change your breath in any way. Just allow the body to breathe itself as it always does. But this act of paying more attention to the breath just allows you to use it as an anchor to this present moment and allows you an opportunity to relax just by the solitary act of paying attention. So again, letting the body breathe in and out. Now I'm going to ask you in this loving kindness meditation to think about placing your hands over your heart. You might place your hands over your heart in a way of reminding yourself that in this loving kindness meditation, you're bringing not only attention, but loving attention to your experience. As you place your hands over your heart, you might feel the warmth of your hands, the gentle pressure of your hands, and feel how your chest rises and falls beneath your hands with every breath. Focusing in on that hand over your chest for a few moments, noticing how your hands have an energy that connects with the energy of your heart and your lungs. And together they have a synergy where they work together to bring your breath in and out. Now, bring your mind to the attention of a person or other living being who naturally makes you smile. Imagine someone in your life, a person or a pet or an animal or whatever other living being in your mind's eye. This is somebody who makes you smile. It could be your child, someone else's child, a grandmother, your cat, your dog, whoever naturally brings happiness to your heart. Perhaps even it's a bird outside your window. Just let yourself feel what it's like to be in that being's presence. Allow yourself to enjoy the good company. Now, recognizing how vulnerable this loved one is. Just like you, this being is subject to sickness, aging, loss, and death. And this being wishes to be happy and free from suffering, just like you and every other living being. So, repeating softly and gently, there's a few words that are coming up. Feel the importance of these words as you repeat softly and gently, either out loud or in your mind's eye. It's up to you. But repeat these words. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. If you notice that your mind has wandered, just return to the words and the image of the loved one that you have in mind. Savor any warm feelings that may arise and go slow. Now add yourself to your circle of goodwill. Put your hand over your heart and feel the warmth and gentle pressure of your hand, and repeat after the following. May you and I be safe. May you and I be peaceful. May you and I be healthy. May you and I live with ease. You may do that over and over again as many times as you like until you feel ready to move on. And when you're ready to move on, visualize your whole body in your mind's eye. Notice any stress or uneasiness that may be lingering within you. And now offer kindness to yourself with the following 4 phrases. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. And may I live with ease. Now take a few breaths and just rest, sitting quietly in your own body, savoring the goodwill and compassion that flows naturally from your own heart to the other being's heart and back to you, like a connection and a synergy that attaches you to the rest of the world. Know that at any time during the day when you feel lonely or lost or just need a little extra compassion and connection, that you can return to the phrases anytime you wish. And now, as this meditation comes to a close, noticing any sounds around you, noticing how your body feels against the chair or the bed, wherever you're sitting or lying. You may wish to move your body in whichever way feels comfortable. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes to return to the discussion. How was that, Melissa?
Lovely. That is so sweet and tender and connecting. And I could see that being so useful in feeling lonely and then being able to bring a connection with a loved one. I could also see this mindfulness exercise being really helpful with if there's somebody that maybe you have conflict with, and just looking at them and just having that connection with.
Yeah. Interesting that you bring that up, because there are other loving kindness mindfulnesses that specifically say bring to mind somebody that you've recently had a conflict with or have negative feelings about. And it's the same thing. And I think it can heal your heart.
Yes.
Change the relationship you have with people, even without ever having had that discussion with them. This can be a beginner to solving conflict with people.
Yeah, really, really powerful.
So I just want to encourage people to look online. There's a ton of different loving kindness meditation tips and videos out there. Look online and see what fits your situation the best, whether it's just wanting to connect with loved ones or whether it's wanting to connect with the whole world as a whole.
Yeah.
Or whether it's wanting to really work on some of those, bitterness and conflict and unforgiveness issues that people are still holding on to. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you so much, Melanie. That was really, really, really nice.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Melissa.
Yes. I think that maybe in this video, let's link the number for the distress center since we had mentioned that. And also please let us know how this exercise resonated with you.
Yes, absolutely. Please let us know. And have a great week, everybody. I hope that the sun stays and that we are able to find 3 things a day that we're grateful for and exude loving kindness, not only to others, but to ourselves as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Melanie. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.